All right, we are back. Welcome back to Pro Bikini News Network. And today we're going to do our Olympia recap. So I was trying to put out videos around, I think, Monday and Tuesday, but I'm in Paradise. I was in Paradise at the time, which is like almost close to the strip where, you know, internet connection sucks. I did kind of notice that when I was uploading my videos for training, and it almost took like 16 hours. And, connectivity is not always the best. Even my Bluetooth and the rental car I had was shutting down. So I couldn't be able to record and do everything. A lot of people went back home early, and some of them were just seeing them are posting out their videos because maybe they're in an area where they have better Wi-Fi. It was nothing to do with my computers at all. It had nothing to do with my phones. It was just had to do with the area I was in. Because when I was in Henderson, where New Tech Gym was, and shout out to New Tech Gym. Those guys were awesome. They gave us great hospitality. They really took care of the athletes. There was space. There are people who could do their work in the lounge area, and that's where I got to post the lineups for the show and also post the top 15 girls. So for the from the Olympia. So I wanted to make sure that I had good connectivity. I did take a red eye flight. I actually learned what that was from Zoe Panzerino, who I trained with. I'm going to have a video with her training because she's doing her last bikini show, and then she's going to do her figure debut this year. But she told me red eye flight means you're flying overnight. And I'm like, oh, I didn't want to get a flight from 1 p.m. because that would have been like $400 more. I'm like, you know what? I'll take the day off. I'll come in and I'll be more rested. And I know it's kind of winding down. My voice is kind of bad because I've been talking a lot. I mean, the dry heat. So it is kind of sore, but so bear with me on that. Overall, the whole Olympia weekend, I really enjoyed it. I really did. Got in Monday, explored town, got to see how to get to every place. Got to meet people in the industry, connect with, people in the industry, talk to business owners. Cause I feel like, not just cause I want to grow into this. I still want to be I really want to be part of the industry. I do want to like connect and see if I could bring people in, even the gym owners I work with, and see what they can do and bring in and sponsoring events and, just continue to grow and elevate the bikini division and now fit model division, which I'm excited to see what fit models to come in 2026. And hopefully by September, we'll get a schedule for the event so I could start planning around, especially, with my girls who I'm working with. And I'm willing to help with anybody who's willing to put in work. If you're really committed, if you want to be in this, and be in a prep, I'll take you on. I'll even take on lifestyle clients. I mean, I've have over 15 years experience in this industry. So I've seen it all, been through it all. I'm also in my own prep with Coach Jay, and I enjoyed some time briefly with the team. We trained together. We spent Friday night finals together. We are hoping to do that at the Arnold, so maybe it cuts down the cost, because I went in as a VIP at the Olympia, and I just wanted to have that full experience, and enjoy it, and I really did. It was awesome. Everybody was great. So Thursday, I was being pulled all over the place. A lot of people recognize my page, so so if I didn't get photos with you guys, I'm sorry. I tried to, but I was getting pulled in many different directions. I had to meet up with my coach, and my posing coach, Justin, who, shout out to him, he got first call outs, and he got ninth place in his second classic physique Olympia. So he's actually doing Hurricane Pro this week. And I'm not going to cover classic, but he's actually competing this week, and I'm actually going to continue to work with him next week. And Coach Jay and obviously the team was together. So he wanted to meet everybody. Some lines were like long, but I couldn't find everybody around. I was just like, where are they? Some people had to go, and I respect everyone's time. If someone's training, or if someone they're not going to be at meet the athletes very long because they got to get some sleep, they got to get some rest, they got to get some food. I respect everyone's time and patience. I even respect the coaches. I'm like, you're doing a job. You want them to look their best, and you have to understand there's a time. If the time is limited, some people I got to go. So that's something that happens a lot, and I'm fine with that. Friday, I really enjoyed. I was there up until figure. So I watched fitness go up 212 and then figure, and I was really impressed with Rhea Gale. When she walked out, I just looked at her like, where did this come from all of a sudden? And she was posing so excellent. I mean, I felt like if she won, it would have been the best thing that happened. I mean, her and Lola Montez were just over a 1 point difference, and she won. And I'm thinking that she's going to be a great representation for the division. I think she's going to be the next one to carry it forward. She's the 8th one to win the title. I mean, it's been around for 22 years, and I've seen her go from, top 10, outside top 10, did not place, top 5, and then she win it. So it's amazing to see her whole journey in this. And now she's the face of the division, and, a whole new era is going to start with it. And I love figure. I think it's an awesome division. Those girls are amazing. Wellness, I paid attention to a little bit. It was just hard because there's a lot of the best girls, all the best girls are outside the US, and that's a very genetic outlier division. Issa lost, Eduardo won, and Eduardo won the Arnold. I mean, I'm going to wait to see what Tyler has to say about that, but at least Alcantara, she impressed me. I felt like she was going to win. I'm like, wow, she posed the best. Her presentation was much better. I feel like within a year or two, she could be the next wellness Olympian, be the first one that's not Brazilian to take the title. This top 5, the top 10 was interesting. I mean, Leo is the first European to make the top 5, and for the first time, it's not just 4 Brazilians; it's 3 of them Brazilian, and then one of them was from Dominican Republic, and Leo's from Moldova. So it's very interesting. Now, I don't know if Franciale is going to come back. I mean, if she does, I mean, I don't have any question that she'll be in one of those top spots. Now, winning it again, the physiques change, criteria changes, and you just have to adapt to evolve. But I always said this, and I admire every division, even the muscular division. I always say you never underestimate a women's physicality because you don't know what they're really capable of. I mean, women have accomplished so much more in the industry than men have. Corey Everson and Glenda Murray win on their first ever Olympia. Ashley Kay did that. Shanique did that. There's not one man in any division, not the inaugural one, but in any division that when it's been established, someone wins in their first one. Only 4 women have done that. Andrea Shaw, she got her 6th title. She tied with Corey's record. So yeah, it was interesting. Men's Open, I mean, I paid attention to it, but I will say this, you kind of saw what happened at prejudging Friday nights, and some people got better, but Derek won. He got his title back first time since Jay Cutler did. But classic physique, I was so happy when Ramon Dina won. I will tell you this, that finals on Saturday went crazy. There were people crying for him. There was a country of Brazil. I mean, I've seen his journey from when back in 2021 in Europa Pro, when that was Emilio Martinez's show. The top 2 guys got qualified for the Olympia. He took second. I remember he fell to his knees and he hit the stage floor. He was, emotional. He gets 5th in his first Olympia. He took second to Chris Bumstead for 2 years. And then this past year, he got 4th and people were counting him out. But he came back, he improved, he was undeniable. They raised the prize money to $100,000, which was awesome. And, he's a hero. That guy came from nothing and made something out of his life. And it's truly amazing to see. That's one of my favorite classic guys right now. And I'm happy that, he's the guy to be. And I'm open to see him, reign for such a long time. And I think he can win as long as he nails it. He comes out, he's ready to go. And it's truly amazing to see. It's truly an honor. But let's get into bikini. So I this whole season, I felt that, and whenever I post the top 6 results of a show, I've seen comments like, this is wellness. If it was like wellness girls, I think it was the Arnold Classic this year after the results. There was a former Olympian. She did the Arnold. She did the Olympia. I think she said something along the lines that the current standard for bikini is a figure girl in a bikini posing, doing bikini poses, and she's like, I understand that everything evolves, but at what cost? I'm just like, times change, physiques change. We just have to adapt and evolve. It's always the chicken and the egg situation. Judges tell you what to do, what to improve on. You show up with those improvements. So who do you blame? The judge for awarding the athlete, or the athlete for showing up what the judge wanted? So it's kind of like, it's that paradox that, we just have to, the older I've gotten, I'm 30 years old right now. I always say I take things for what they are, not how I like it. So we have to accept what it is. If you don't like it, it's like, get on the ride, embrace it, or get off. Your physique that turned pro, I think she did the 2017 Olympia. That physique was amazing back then. That wouldn't even do well now today. Even a physique that turned pro 2 years ago wouldn't do well today. It's always evolving. Always have to adapt and adjust and overcome that. That's just how it is. And bikini is a very volatile division. It is a very competitive division. It is the most popular female division. You see Saturday prejudging, there's a sea of crowd. We are fighting over seats. It's chaos and confusion. I think I'm going to trademark that eventually in the future. I'm going to make that a clothing like chaos and confusion, or I think I got a good one, chaos form. So that would be sick. I don't know. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to trademark that. That's just an idea. I just got to be creative with that. So, never say never. My creativity and how I do things, even memes and stuff. And anybody I work with, you tell me what you like, what you don't like, I'll work with you. But the way I felt like the bikini was judged, I felt like it was justified based off of who showed up and who presented the best physique. And we always say stage presence really carries you over. When you're confident on stage and you are memorable, it's going to really carry you over. That could make you go from like a second, third call out girl to even into the first call out. We've seen it before. We've seen people go from last call out to first. We've seen it with Angelica. Her first Olympia, she was near dead last, like second to last in the last call out. And then 1 year later, she improved on everything. And then she took second in the 2016 Olympia. That was almost 10 years ago. Some people argue that she could have won that title, but that would have been an amazing story to hear. What was another amazing story, and I'll get into bikini, was this influencer. I'm going to find him right now. He's from Austria. His name is, I don't know if you've seen him before. His name's Johnny Arnold, like Johnny Munster. He did the Olympia Amateur last year. He took dead last in the Olympia Amateur last year in classic physique, and he took a whole year off, did a regional show to qualify, and I think in Europe, I think it was like the France show. And then he came to the Olympia Amateur this year. Not only did he win the class, but he won the overall. And only I think it's top one or top two in the overall get pro cards, I believe. But that's amazing to see. So, you could change your whole life in a year just doing something different. So I'm happy for him. I mean, the guy's great. The guy's awesome. So we'll see how it all goes. But let me see, layout. Wait, fix this. Here we go. We'll get into bikini. Let me exit out of this. So I'm going to break down from 15th place to first. I do have video of the first call out and second call out, and then the final call out from prejudging that I recorded. So I could tell you what I saw, what I've seen in person. So what I say, photos and pictures don't always tell the story. You got to be at the shows. Even though I do a lot of recaps with, videos and photos, I say this is what I see. But then again, in person, it's totally different. Lighting's different. I felt people complain. So, you always hear people complain about lighting at the Olympia. This year it wasn't so bad. I could see everything going on. It was just, getting that point of view and seeing it for it is. My top 20 girls, most of them placed, and I'll show you how I did. So, let's see. So most of the girls I had, they placed. Only Ali, she was in the second call out. She just got out, got outside that second call at 16th. Alice Roca, did the third call out. Jess was fourth, and then Brittany, Adriana, Tara were in that third call out. Kate was in the fifth. So that wasn't so bad. I felt like my picks weren't so bad. I scored a 79% on based off how the placings went. Obviously the biggest shock is Laura Lee going from first to sixth place. It would have changed the whole game. It would have been totally different, but whatever showed up, I guess that's how it is. And, I don't want to get into and speculate on anything. I mean, I've heard so many different stories, but I'm not going to hear causing rumors. So unless it's coming from her, I'll leave it out. We talked after she got off the final stage, and I said, take some time off. Your family's waiting for you. So, cause I really care about her, at the meet and greet, she gave a shirt exclusive to me. So that was cool. I mean, she only had a few people to have it. So that's cool. I was happy to see that. But, Maureen got her title back. So this is the second time in bikini ever where someone lost the title and got it back. The first one being Jen. So, I mean, like I said, you never underestimate a woman. They can get it back. I mean, Maureen, for the past couple of years, has been, so 2019, her first Olympia, she was 9th, and then did not compete in 2020. Then she took 4th, 1st, 2nd. She got injured last year, 2 weeks before the Olympia. She, I think, injured her. I don't remember what manager Matt said, but he said that she kind of fell off the of a escalator and injured her foot. That she was like painful pain, like it was painful to put her foot down. And some people said, why don't you just tape it up and be ready to go? But then she's just like, I don't want to go on stage if I'm not gonna show my best. And so she sat out the Olympia that year, and then she came back this year, did Pittsburgh. It wasn't her best look. And she even told me when I talked to her to meet the athletes, like, I think I should have been fifth. And me and I just talked like normal. We were just like bikini and stuff. But I said that I feel like you come to Olympia, you're a different animal. It's like I feel like there are people that they don't do well in pro shows, and then when they come to Olympia, when they are qualified, they just turn it up a notch and they come a different animal. And I definitely think Marine showed that she is that best girl. So we'll get to her, but we're gonna get to the top 15 girls. One that really impressed me, the one that made the biggest jump, was Evie, who I think she was in that second call. She'd been 13th before. She was her first Olympia. She didn't play. She was like third call out. So she's always in that third call out. And she was 13th, and then the past year's third call. So she made the top 10. She got 7th. Jourdain, I got right. I felt like she was going to be outside the top 10 just a bit, but Maria dropped a couple places. Ari got back into the top 10. Ashley, she was 5th. Vanya, she was just outside the top 5, and we'll get to talk about her, and I'll explain what happened based on what I know. But yeah, we'll get into all the girls. So I actually did pretty good. I want to know how other girls. I look at I didn't want to take too much time to get to everyone else's scores. I just got back today, so I put this all in right after Olympia happened, and I was waiting for the pictures and photos on NPC News to post and share for the whole world. So we'll get into that. So with that being said, gonna do this. We're gonna go to our 15th place girl, and that was Victoria from Hungary. So she turned pro this year at FIBO. She took 4th place, and then she won a show in Hungary and she qualified. And then I think she took 2nd in the Poland show to Allison. But seeing her in person, she looks amazing. I mean, the one thing I thought was going to be, I did not have her placing at all, but because I think the one thing in European competitors is they're always like hard to condition. And I think she has a great shape. I just think for her, her lower body is smaller than her upper body, but she's got great like proportions. I just think she doesn't need any more delts. She just needs more upper glute right here to balance out this shoulder. I think she needs to maybe downsize her shoulders, but she got a great S curve. Conditioning is good. Waistline's tight. Beautiful look. I love the hair. I love the suit. Contrasts very well with her. I think she wore like green. If I recall seeing her on her last show that she won, and the last show that she competed in, even I think in FIBO. But this is a good look from her. She's tall. I think she's 5'4", 5'6". If I recall, see how she stood, I could look at the lineup. I could probably tell what her height is. So she's one of those taller girls. This front post is actually pretty good. It was pretty good on her. I do think, like I said, she just needs to fill out and just kind of downside these shoulders, because you see some like leanness right there. It says I'm looking at her shoulders first before anything else, and just have this upper glute match so that it's proportional. She's kind of lat flaring a bit, so that's another thing I would kind of get on. That's one thing I would try to fix on this front pose as well. So overall, I mean, for her rookie season to turn pro and then get to her first Olympian place, this is actually great from her, and I'm hoping to see her move up and hopefully see her as a European competitor could be here and do well here. Hamstrings are pretty good as well. Let's go into her back. I mean, like I said, I feel like her shoulders is the first thing I'm looking at first before her lower body. She does need more, glute prop protection. Tines are good. The foot placement's good. Legs are pretty good. Like I said, this picture is taken at kind of from the side versus like straight on, but I just think she just needs more glutes. That's one thing about taller, longer limbed girls, is that they need more. She kind of gives me like it's funny because she's blonde. Kind of gives me like Brittany Gillespie vibes, based off this. But Brittany has longer glute inserts. She has kind of more like medium, shorter. but this is a good look. Her hair is good. I think I would have her hair just more like more volume, so it's like you don't see through the back connector, because you could see it right here. You could see where her back connector is being shown. But this is cool. This is great. This is a great like shape. Her waistline is like snatched, brought in. But and this is something that over time she's going to develop. I mean, I think she's on the younger side, so she has many years of growth and development. And if she's still in this, we'll see how she goes from here on out. Next up, we have Sally and Kato from Japan. So I'm happy to see an Asian competitors do well. And I will tell you this, I'm impressed with a lot of them. They have amazing physiques. I mean, I met Jiben, I met Sarah Choi from South Korea. I'm Yume. Yume gave me gifts from Japan, which I'm actually going to show, and I'm going to post that. I actually got a Yume face sticker on my laptop, which I'm happy that I got that. But on to Sally, she's got a adorable look. She looks adorable. Like she looks like a cartoon. She looks like a really cute, adorable cartoon character in real life. This is her second Olympia. I think when I saw her first Olympia, she kind of had like a thicker waistline, but she's brought her waist in a little more. Great shape on her. I love the suit. The hair color is good. I think she could use more darker hair just so that it doesn't match with her tan. I think this is something even Sean noted, sitting next to me, that some people's tans looked a little too green. But I think this tan's fine on her. Shoulders are good. This is a good front. I would kind of maybe, if I was to say nitpick at this, I would kind of twist the front. I'd fill out a little more, because I think the thing with the Asian competitors a lot, and people ask me why I don't cover them, because I don't know many stars and we don't see them compete here. Them coming up from a different time zone, like when they come, they're one day ahead of us. So when they come to the West Coast, they lose a day, and it kind of messes them up. So I always think they come in early, they get adapted for a couple of days, and I think that's what they should do more of than if they want to compete and do well. I mean, it's a lot, the cost of coming to America and all, but the makeup on this girl is really good. She has beautiful, bright, light brown eyes. The lips are good. She's smiling. Like, you can't take your eyes off her because she's smiling. She looks happy to be here, and that's what you should be. Like I said, presentation carries you over a lot. When you look like you're confident, you're happy to be there, and you come out like, I'm going to do well, I'm going to win. It really exudes that confidence, and I think judges will take note of that. And you're making yourself memorable. She got in front of Sandy, so that's one thing that was good for her, to do the Japan Pro, to see how she can stand with some of the top judges and top pros, and we'll see what goes on for her. And so I'm happy to see what she's brought to the Olympia stage, and to go from like a low call out to like second call out to placing, that's great. One of the best in the world right now. So let's get into her back pose. So this is pretty good. I do like her hair. I do think it could be a little more straightened right here, so that it's not like taking over. For her, she just needs more glute pop. This is good. I do think she could maybe fix her foot position, because it do look like her quads are overpowering her legs. Tines are really solid. Like I said, she just needs more projection here. Suit cut's fine. Her width up top's really good. I don't want to say that she's a little thicker or wider, but you kind of like see it does. She has a great shape in the back. But I do think that this foot position could be a little fixed, so that maybe bring her toes maybe pointing straight forward to help accentuate the physique. But overall, this is pretty good for her. This is good. I mean, this is just a start. And obviously, you could use a little more. I think, getting feedback from here and seeing what you can do to improve on that definitely can help you moving forward. And like I said, I think she competed here in the States more. I definitely think that she's someone that could be a top girl. I mean, these girls from Asia got crazy genetics. Like I said, they're truly amazing, but I feel like they get here, they don't do well because they're either too small or they're too hard and too conditioned. And I just think that they just need to just fill out and bring a great physique, because their waist are like this. I even told Sarah yesterday before I left, was like, you have such an amazing physique. And I even told her that you have such an amazing physique. I think you got to compete here and start winning here. Yumi competes here with Coach Adam, and she gets like fourth place, and I definitely think she can win a couple shows. And I'm happy to have seen her and to come here. But I definitely think that if Sally wants to really do well, improve on this, she does compare well with the shorter girls in the top 10, the top 5, top 3. But I just feel like she just needs a little more. It just needs to be like that standout. So especially when you go through the comparisons. But overall, I'm happy for her with how she did. Next up, we have Jordan Brannon. So Jordan's had a very great year this season. I mean, she's qualified for next year, so she's pretty much set for next year. She's gonna have her surgery. So, I don't think she's gonna do another show probably until like mid or late next year. So being already qualified, getting back-to-back wins with the new qualification system is great. She did drop a place. She was 12th last year. She dropped to 13th. I had her in the top 10 because I felt like she has the tools in the variables to be a top tier Olympian. She's really brought up her glute density. And I think if I'm looking at it here, it's just kind of I think she came in a little too lean because you could see like veins, vascularity right here. One thing I think, because she's one of the first ones up, being number 8, I feel like it's just holding that conditioning, and also getting used. She's from Arizona, but also getting used to like the dry heat, and the timing of the show. I mean, it's hard to sit through 50 some classic guys and 68 men's physique, and then you're going up and you're one of the first people to go up on stage. So I do like this front pose on her. I just think just need to find ways to like fill out. And I think her and coach have been working on that very well. This is a good look from her. I just think she just needed a little more pump here in her shoulders, and it just needed to fill out that she's not so vascular. But this is a great front pose on her. This is a great shape. I love her hair, suit, and makeup on her. It's a very great look, and I'm happy to see that every year she's getting better, improving little by little by little. So then we'll go into her back. This is a great back pose on her. She does have shorter glute inserts, but it helps accentuate her physique. She's more darker hair now, and I feel like it's much better versus bright, versus because the suit and how she takes the tan. She has such a great tan in almost every show. I think the pro tan that she uses works very well for her versus when she was using liquid sun rays. Obviously, everybody's skin tone takes things differently, but I think for her, she just probably could have used some better rear delts. But the suit cut's great on her. I like this suit cut versus ones I've seen in the past. I do like if the foot position's great. How she poses is excellent. I just think she just need a little more hamstring right here, because if like in the front she's like hard, and then in the back she's a little soft. But she found that balance right there. I definitely could say and argue that she could have been up like back in her 12th or 11th or maybe 10th place spot. But I do think this is a great look from her. I just feel that it's just nailing it, and it's just how she shows up. It basically is just if she can nail it. But when she nails it and she's on point, I definitely say that she's a top girl, and she's definitely going to be a first call out girl, top 5 girl in the future. Now it's just going to be a matter of who's going to be the better one that showed up, and this is a great physique that she's brought, and I'm happy to see what she's progressed with. So overall, I just think looking quite again, I just think it's balanced from lower half. I just think the upper half, like just her rear delts, just use a little more. And that's something that she's got to find a way to work on. And, they're applying everything back to back, and, we'll see how it goes from there on out. But this is great for her. I'm happy for her. All right. Next up, we have Jourdain. So Jourdain this year, she took second in Texas. Wasn't the best look. She came in flat. Then she was pretty much hands down clear winner in Atlanta Pro, and then she came to Olympia. I think if I'm looking at her, I mean, this is an amazing shape. This is an amazing front pose on her. I do think she maybe is a little downsized from her last show. I feel like maybe that's why. But how is this like going in from her lower back down? This is like amazing shape. I do think she could use maybe a little more hamstrings to balance out this leg, because it feels like from her low glutes, her should just go straight. She just needs a little more hamstring development right here, just to accentuate the front even more. How the full position is great. I like the pink suit on her. She has that signature butterfly ring that she likes, and obviously that's just her personality. Um, I didn't see it as much, but the wristbands are not as, I think they're kind of the same color of this thing. It doesn't take away from anything. I am looking at her physique most of the time. Her makeup, her hair, her suit of glam is really good. I just think I think the one thing that's preventing her from moving up is in her back. So I want to get to that. So from waist up, it's great. I mean, I really think, and her waist is like really small, but here I feel like, um, she just needed more hamstring, and just, needs to find a way to nail the conditioning. It just needed more like projection to her glutes. But from the front, it's really good. But she just needs to match that from the back. I do think she is standing a little bit wide. I feel like she's, leaning on one side. So you kind of do see an imbalance right here. I kind of had to look through the photos and see, but yeah, I feel like she could bring this leg kind of like a little more like right here. It could balance it out, because I do think she's standing a little bit wide. But overall, this is a good look from her from the front. It's a really strong in the front, but just the back is like needs to be just as good. So like 100% on the back, in the front, and then in the back, it's kind of feels like it's around that like 70%, because it's there, it's right there. She just needed to nail it. But then it's hard, like in bikini, to hold that conditioning. Qualifying in August, and then 2 months you have to hold that, and come in October to nail it. But yeah, this is really good on her. And he showed that she's a contender to win. I mean, she is a top girl. If she, being an Arnold, being an Olympia, she is a top girl no matter what. So we'll see we'll see what happens from here, and what she can do to improve on. I'm curious to see what her feedback was and what she needs to work on. But shout out to Coach Cash. He's done a great job with her and all the girls. Okay, next up is Reina. I mean, she's had a great season this year. I mean, second to a Miss Olympia champion, and then winning 3 shows, like just dominating them. I do think for her, it's the makeup for her, and I feel like the purple or the teal suit is her color. I would stick with the purple suit. There were so many reds. Like when I went through the list, when I was like putting up the pictures, it was like 9, 10, 11th all had red suits, and I'm like, okay, which one's what? Like, I have to make sure, like, why have to see what they look like. So, um, got an amazing. She has an amazing physique. I mean, in person, it's unreal. I just do think that I do think she needs a little more leg, and maybe how to fix this front pose right here, because it's like her glutes overtake her legs sometimes. But I think in the back it's much different. I think as she kind of, I mean, she has a good front pose, but I feel like she just needs to find a way to accentuate it better. It was a good front pose according to Sandy from the RGV Classic, but sometimes on the stage things can change and all. Amazing look. I just think, like I said, makeup, and I just think just find a way to nail a front pose and being comfortable with it. But stage presence, posing, she does that so well. And I think that's, one person I think I could say is she has a potential to be like a first call out girl, maybe even top 3 in like within a year or two. I'd say 1 to 3 years she's in the first call out top 3 conversation, and maybe someone who can go for the title. I think she has a lot of potential to be a top tier Olympian, and even be someone who is in the conversation to be a Bikini Olympia champion. She's the best international pro right now. She is the most winningest. I mean, outside of, I mean, Marine's international, but she lives in the US. And then Isa, well, I don't know if she's coming back or not, but if she is, but I'd say Reina is the best international pro in pro bikini right now. So let's get to her back. Let's see. Foot position is good as well. So this is actually really good on her. This is obviously one of her strong suits. I do think because I think she's about 5'5", 5'6". I mean, I was standing next to her. Tie-ins are really good, great glute projection. I just do think for her, she just needs a little more legs. Sometimes she has a tendency to come in a little too conditioned. I don't think that's the case. I just think how she was holding it, being one of the last ones up. I thought she was going to be in that, like, I thought she was going to be one of the late numbers up because of her last name being Perez Malcalco, but last year she was right next to Issa because her last name was started with P, but this year she's in the M, so she was like kind of like in the middle of the whole of everyone. So I think she was like the 44th girl up if I remembered her number. So great package from her. I do like the fact that she has her hair above her lower back. It does accentuate her shape a lot, very well. Foot position's pretty good. I do think she could maybe. I think she's doing that just to show a little quad so her glutes don't overpower, but she just needs to work on her legs in the front to bring them up. And that's kind of one thing I feel like her legs gotta, because she has great glute projection and crazy inserts like right here. She needs more legs just to accentuate so it doesn't look like it's just glutes overtaking. Because if her feet are pointing straight, it's just you see glutes first. It shows got an amazing shape. It's balanced from like upper to lower body, but just needs legs to balance. And that's the whole thing with bikini. You hear Tyler Mannion say it all the time. It's balance, 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 balance. Sandy, balance, balance, balance. It's Becky, Bernadette, they always say that it's a whole balance physique. And if she finds that and brings everything together, like it's everyone's going to have a hard time going against her. I do think that she is someone that's going to be hard to compete against in the Bikini Olympia for many years. And she's on the younger side, so she's going to reach her potential sooner or later. But this has been a great season for her, a great year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she does next and going into 2026. I definitely think that winning shows won't take very long for her. Okay, let me eggs out, eggs out, eggs out, eggs out. Let's get into our top 10 with our 10th place girl, which is Ariana. So she's had a great year this year. She took 5th at the Arnold. She took 2nd in the Girl Power show. She won Girl Power. She took 2nd in Charlotte, one point with Maria, who was ahead of her. I think for her, is she brings that 2023 Olympia look with nailing conditioning. She's a Miss Olympia winner. I mean, I even told her, like, everybody, almost anybody that sees Ari sees her as a Miss Olympia winner. Like, we kind of talk about like Andrew Jacked, where you walk into his room, you're like, that's Mr. Olympia. You look at Ariana, she looks like Miss Olympia, very comparable to Laura Lee. I do think because of their height and like the structure and how they're built, she has all the variables to be a Miss Olympia winner. So what I think here, she's brought up her upper body. I just think her lower body needs to come in more fuller. I do think you kind of see a little leanness right here. I think she came in just a little too lean. So it's improvement from 13th last year. Just in her stage presence, her posing is just so excellent. Makeup, beautiful look. You can't stop looking at her. The judges love her. Everything is like, you just look at her and like, that's an amazing structure. But I do think, and her waist is brought in. So she's improved on that. But I just think she just needs to bring out more glutes in her front and just fill out more. Hamstrings are really good. She has this athletic build, and I do think that if she brought all that, it would have helped her moved up. And I definitely could see her back going into that top 5. She was 7th before, so I could see her in that top 5 in those top spots because she has such an amazing physique and amazing structure. So then we'll go and see her from the back. Let's see here. Let me go back. Here we go. So what I'm seeing is that I feel that she just needs to bring her lower body up. Conditioning is pretty good here. I just feel like she's a little leaner. You could see like she needs more upper glute right here and just needs that fullness. If she brings in that fullness and matches that to her upper body, it's like, that is hard to beat. Like, this is amazing how her waist goes in, how she poses is very excellent. I just think she just need to bring in the more fullness. And I think her and her coach are going to figure that out soon enough. But I'm happy to see her back into that top 10 spot. Hair's really good. I do think the hair could cover. Is it curly? Is it like kind of wavy? Yeah, but I think her hair could cover her back connector much better. But this is a good look. This is a good look from her. I just think with a couple of feedbacks and improvements here and there, I definitely think bringing that fullness can really accentuate her. Can really like bring out one of the best Arianas we've ever seen, because she can be a Miss Olympia winner. I truly believe that she has what it takes to win it, and I just think it's going to be nailing. It's just going to be how she breaks it all together and just nails it. All right. Next up, we have. Hold on. In ninth, we have Maria Acosta. So this season, fourth at the Arnold. She won Charlotte. She was fifth at Pittsburgh. So this is a beautiful look on her. She's the first one up. The one thing about her is just like not coming in too flat, being the first girl up. It's like, that is what I feel like. And even I've even told her this. I hate that. I'm happy with my last name. I'm going to be changing it to Al Gandhi. And even on the NPC, IFPB, I'm like, I would not want to be the first person up to like open up the show, and and then like having to wait all that time. But one thing I feel about her is that she needs to like maintain that fullness. She's the shortest girl. She's about 4'11". So I mean, I love her hair, her suit, her lamb. She's adorable to look at. I think for her, it's just containing her fullness in her glutes. Her waistline's much tighter than before. I do think this is a good look from her. I do sometimes think she comes in a little too hard. It's just trying to like maintain the fullness and and obviously water, so she's not depleted when she comes in and off stage. So I mean, this is a good look from her. The balance. She's always having this like balanced physique, and there's not one thing where I'm like, there's not one thing in her front where I'm like, one part's taking over the other. It's a complete look for her. It's just bringing it all together. The foot position, like I said, it's probably at an angle, so it's much different. It does look like it's pointing toward the judges, but it's actually not. It's from the side, so you're not seeing a straight on from her. You're not seeing a straight on shot from her, but straight on, it's so much better. And even in person, it was so much better. Great posing, great stage presence from her. Now let's get into her back. Let's see here. Go. Yeah, here we go. So in her back, I mean, her upper body is great. The width is great. How her waist tapers in is really good. I do think she just needed a little more fullness, and that's one thing that I think she's even said, like, it's maintaining that fullness, and it's hard, but it's hard to do that and being the first one up, and then you have to wait for a bunch of people to go up and then coming back into the class. But like I said, I feel that if she brings it all in, it's just how she needs to, like, I think once she gets up stage, she needs to like have something quickly to like quickly absorb to keep her fullness and maintain that, so she doesn't appear flat. But this is good. This is a good look from her. This is a great package that she brought. I mean, even though she did drop 2 places and was just outside the first call out, I do think that this is a really solid package from her, and she's going to continue to improve. And I don't think that her season's done yet. I do think that she's going to hop into a show sooner or later. So keep your eyes out. I do think that she has a really well balanced look from front and back. The separate. She has longer glute inserts, and how it goes in. You can see a clear separation of hamstrings and tie-in. So. And she's very comparable to, like, I would say, an Evie Eskandar, Marie, and her Ashlyn. Funny that they're all the short ones in the lineup, but they're very, like, she has a very comparable look to, like, contend with them and be in those top spots. And I definitely believe over time she'll be in those top spots. All right, 8th was Vanya. I know this was kind of shocking to people. I mean, Vanya this year won the Arnold Classic, but from a post that I saw, and the note was she had a herniated disc, so it kind of looked like she wasn't posing right. And I was looking, I'm like, because she was the second one to go up. I'm like her posing and her stage presence really helped her. And she always is. She's the best poser in bikini right now. I do think that how she was posing in the back, it was it felt like you could see it was very rigid. It kind of felt stiff. Um, she's got a great shape and all. She's not too conditioned. She's not like, she's not like so conditioned where it's like you could see she's too hard, but you kind of could see good lines in here. Hamstrings are good. I just feel like she's, trying to like maintain, like, so it doesn't look too obvious. But I think that's what kind of knocked her down. I mean, it sucks, to be outside top 5. I mean, I did remember she said after the Arnold that she was recovering from a back injury. So I definitely think after this Olympia, she's going to take some time off to recover from that. If she has to set out the Arnold, I think that's a better option so that she can recover and, come back stronger. But I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I think she could have that time. If she has enough time to recover from that, I'm hoping it's not anything surgical. Well, I definitely see that she's definitely a top girl that can get back into it and win it. But I felt like that was the reason. And we can go through the posing. I'm going to go through the comparisons and show you guys that. So let me get to her back. So this is really solid. I mean, the hair, the whole beauty factor, the hair suit glam, everything's great. But I felt like she wasn't really like fully posed in. It kind of felt like almost straight up, because I could tell like she didn't want to do that, so it wouldn't be uncomfortable. It would look too obvious. But she did it. She performed so well. But I felt like you could kind of not see as much as in the front. Conditioning was good, but in the back, I felt like, and you could kind of see like she's not showing it as much. She's not bending a little. Like if she has to bend a little to show that conditioning and show that, but you could kind of tell like she was a little flat up top because of how she was posing, which I know I don't normally see that from her, but because of the herniated disc, that was the reason why. So, I mean, hey, some people could say, it shouldn't be lower, but like, I felt like it was right. It was justified. I mean, like I said, your confidence in your presence takes over a lot. And that's the thing in bikini. If you have a good physique, great posing, great stage presence, confidence, that carries you a lot. Obviously, if you have the right balance in the physique, it's going to be awarded for that. So I believe that the 8th place is right for her. Would I have her lower would I have her lower and say someone else would have moved up? I would have said yes and no, but because I don't think, I mean, if you look at someone else, you have to see what someone else is lacking that she doesn't. I feel like everything that she had, maybe if I look at the scorecard again, I'm going to look at it. Okay. Let's see. Vanya and Maria had a 1 point difference. You could argue and say that they could have flip flopped either way. I mean, it could have gone like some judges had her ahead, some judges had Maria ahead. So 43, 40, 42, 43. So I could see why some judges would have even Maria ahead of her, and that would have been right or justified. So, but this is a good look from her. I mean, I think it's not the worst Vanya. It's not the worst Vanya that ever. So, I mean, to still be in the top 10 and to perform and do well is great. I mean, she went from 12th to 5th and then to 8th. So I don't think this is a disappointing look from her. I think she brought the best of what she could. She brought the best she could, and that's all she can do. All she had to do is just control her variables. But yeah, I'm very happy for her. I don't think she sees this, she should be disappointed at all. I definitely think that she handled it like a professional and carried herself well. I mean, for being the first person up to hold that, to be almost be in pain to do this and I commend her on that. So I could, like I said, I could vouch and say that I would have her one place lower over. I would have Maria over her. I could, but then again, the judges see some things that we don't. So then that gets us into our top 7, and I do have Gilco videos on them, so that can be useful. So shout out to Gilco for these. So 7th was Evie. I think this is one of the best Evies I've ever seen. But one thing I think about Evie was that sometimes she's a little like too lean in her shoulders, but this time it didn't feel that way. It does. Yeah, you could see, yeah, that's a vascularity thing. I I don't know, like I feel like front is really good. This is a great front pose, but I definitely think that it wasn't like she found a way to like pose very well and make sure that that wasn't quite seen. Sorry to, but this is a great look. I love her hair, her glam. How she poses is excellent. This is a great front pose from her. Honestly, one of the best front poses in the lineup, I would say. But I feel like in the back, and here she's going, she was just a little too tight. You could definitely see a little tightness in her left hamstring. Sometimes she comes in a little too square, but she brought great glute projection to the Olympia stage, and I'm very happy to see that she goes from like 13th into the like third call out, just outside the second, just like in the second call out, just outside. I think she's in the second call out, just at that 16th place last year. But the confidence that she brought, the whole package that she had, I think this is definitely a great for her. I mean, this is a win to be in the first call out to get 7th place. I honestly think, and I'm going to get to the other girls. If I look at how she looked with the other girls ahead of her, I would have said she could have been probably, she probably could have been 5th place. And one year I had her 4th because of all the shows who was winning. But this is a good look from her. This is actually one of the best EVs ever. And even in Pittsburgh, I was like really impressed. I was like, wow, that's really impressive. I honestly believe that she could be a first call out girl, and this was the year she nailed it. But I think going forward, I'm happy to see what she's going to do and continuing to progress. But people had her like counted her out because she lost the Portugal Pro show to I think what's her name, Golsha. And people are like, well, she lost the show. It doesn't mean like she lost the show to someone that was like not well recognized, and I don't think she can be in the top 10, top 15, and she might be outside of it. But I definitely think she kept improving from that show and got better. And that was a good thing that happened versus like being so good, being so used to winning. So I think it was I think her losing in Portugal was a good thing. Even though she won, she was 4th in Pittsburgh and could have been ahead of Marine. And then she took 2nd in New York. And then she won that Spain show. She won the Spain show. Then she did FIBO won. She won FIBO, won the Spain show. Was it Empro? Yeah, Empro Classic. And then took 2nd in Portugal. So then she comes here. I definitely think that she's going to be someone to be looking out for. And she's right in between an Arnold Classic champion and a Miss Olympia champion. So, hey, I mean, this is a great win for her. I mean, to say that I got into those top spots, I'm like right there. Like, and the 2 girls ahead of me are a former Miss Olympia right now. That's an accomplishment. So that's a great milestone for her. I definitely think that she's living on a high. This is probably one of the best seasons ever for her. And I'm happy to see her continue to progress, and I'm happy to see what she's going to do in the future. I definitely say that any show she's in, if it's Europe, she's won shows in the US. I definitely could say that she's someone that to be looking out for and someone to be a contender to go for a time. If she could push into those, she can push those goals. She could definitely be someone to move up and do very well. But we'll see what goes on. So, congratulations to you, Evie. I'm happy for you. I just feel like for her, it's just. You need to find a way to not come in way too tight. But this is a great look. This is her and like 2 other girls had probably the best projection in that top 7 at the Olympia in the first call out. So it's Evie. In 6, this was the biggest shocker of the show. We had Laura Lee. I felt like from the front, she had, great stage presence from the front, but I felt like she came in a little too flat in the back and she kind of lost the conditioning and tie-ins. I know it's disappointing. I know, it would have changed the whole game if she had won the show. But it's hard. It's hard to like be that last one up. The only thing I would say is I think I would prefer the indigo suit on her versus the purple. But it looks good on her. But I prefer the indigo suit. I always say if it is broke, don't fix it. I would stick with that. But when she came back at the night show, she was much better at night versus in prejudging. But it was kind of like too little, too late. And some people would give backlash and say, oh, she should not have been 6. She should have been lower. But I don't know how I'd feel about that. I mean, I think about Issa when 2020, when she won the Arnold that year, she was the Miss Olympia title, and then she got 6th place. And what's happened to Olympia champions where they go lower. I think Issa was the lowest to get go from 1st to 6th. Sonya went from 1st to 5th, and who was it? Who was the lowest from winning the title to lower? Oh yeah, Natalia Mello in 2013 when she won the title and then went from 1st to 4th. I honestly thought when that year, and I think about it, I'm going to pause this for a moment. When I think about that year, I I honestly would have had India in 4th or 3rd, possibly. But I guess, like I said, people see different. I don't know if it's like a way to make them not feel so bad. But if it was like really bad, it would have been lower. But I think she handled it like a champion. She came out for finals, and that was a great intro. That was a great introduction for her. But I definitely think I don't know. I'm not going to speculate what happened and what went on, but it was just, I feel like something happened, and I'm going to let her talk about that. I'm not going to speculate and make some news and make headlines, but I think something went on that caused her to look like this, because in the back, it felt like she kind of lost the glute projection and the diets. I think she came in a little more. She had her period a couple of days, from what I was told, a couple of days before. So she came in. So then she had her period, and then I think she said she came in 5 pounds more. So I feel like what she had last year was pretty good. But another thing is, I would never do diuretics unless it's like really bad. If it's on the day, if it's like it happens the day before a show, maybe. But I don't know how. You have to see how people's bodies respond. So I think they had to do the right. They did the right. They did the right call, so that it wouldn't look too bad. But I mean, it was disappointing. But I don't think this is the end for her. And she took it very well. And I think that she can still come back and get. I mean, now we've had 2 girls lose the title and get it back. So I would like to see her do a show in peak, because I feel like in bikini, and I've said this a lot, bikini's the one division where you never see somebody, just look at any year that anyone has ever won the title. You don't see them, or someone who's trying to defend the title, you don't see them just do one show one time a year. Other divisions like figure, physique, women's bodybuilding, wellness, where they're an outlier, right? Where they're like that exceptional athlete, like Sydney was, like Franciali was, like Andrea, you name it. They would do one show one time a year and they would nail it. But I mean, that's just successful. Bikini, I feel like you have to be consistent with it, because in 1 year, 2 years, things change, physiques change. But I feel like it's better to just compete at least one time, or even try something out and then see what goes from there. Because I feel like competing one time a year, showing up for one, it doesn't end very well. I was hoping Laura Lee would do it didn't matter if it was a small show or a big show or not, at least 1 month out to like test something out. I feel like that would be a much better scenario. I've never seen a champion, even when Marine lost, Marine did the Arnold, right? And then she took 2nd. But the year Jen lost her for the first time, when it was in December, it was just one time. Like, she won in October of 2021. And then in 2022, she just came in very over conditioned. They were trying to fill out, and she just looked tired. And by the time that happened, it was, and she lost. But like to come in one time a year doesn't. Well, Ashley, perfect example. I can go on and on and on. Ashley going for her 4th title in 2016, did not compete at all, wound up losing. Angelica defended the title, was the last person to defend the title twice, but she competed. She did the Arnold Ohio, Arnold Australia, the Asian Grand Prix, and then the Olympia. The 2019 season, when she did not compete at all and did the Olympia, she winds up in 3rd. I'm trying to think of who else. Janet, when she won, but she didn't, but she announced that she wouldn't be defending her title. I always keep thinking that in bikini, you have to be someone to at least try something out, at least do a show and see how it goes. And versus just putting everything into one show one time a year. I think if there's anything from this, it's Laura Lee should be doing that. And even Maureen, even if Maureen's the Miss Olympia, which I'm going to get to, I think that she should at least try one show, even if it doesn't end well. Even if you look bad. And I think people are afraid to make mistakes. I really do. I think that if you just do one show, even if it's a couple months before the Olympia, try it out, see what you look like, and then okay. But Ashley, I mean, we're gonna get to Ashley next. I'm actually gonna talk about her. So go. Ashley had a blue suit. Here we go. So even Ashley this year, like she only competed 3 times, and they were okay looks from her. But Ashley competes a lot, and I feel like that's why she's always in the top 3 spots. And she's always a perennial top Olympian. She competes a lot. People say you shouldn't be like. Well, I feel like it's good for her, and it's good. But she competed 3 times this year, and I felt like she's going to do something different. She's going to do post-show Olympia shows, but I think if as a current or former champion, I feel like trying something out and seeing how it goes versus one time a year is much better. So for Ashley, I was surprised when she wore this in the suit. I mean, it's great on her. It contrasts with her hair and her skin tone. But what I feel like what really hurt her is her front pose. And that's one thing I've always said about Ashley. I felt like her World Classic look was probably one of her best looks this year. Out of all the 3 shows that she won, she did World Classic, she did the Mile High, and then she did what's it called, the Vancouver. But I felt like her World Classic was probably one of her best physiques that she brought. It was enough to hold off Ali Valhauer, but I feel like for her, she just needed to be more tighter in her waist. I mean, what I noticed, even Sean did, was that she did her individual for only 30 seconds, so she kind of like got to the point. But I felt like she has some of the best glutes, obviously, and that's hard to beat Ashley in her back post. But I felt like she just didn't have that projection that the top girls had, and that's what kind of maybe brought her down and cost her. But she got to the point, she posed in place, she wasn't going to walk back, so that was good to time it and not take too much time. But I mean, she's someone that's hard to beat. I felt like she kind of lost legs and like hamstrings versus what she had at World Classic. She had a little more to her. I think that's another thing that kind of brought her down. So it's kind of like her waist and kind of her waist, or like her lower abs and her hamstrings just needed more. That's from the front. From the back, it was just the glute projection, because her World Classic was much better than her. That World Classic, if she brought that, and people may or may not like me saying this, but I think that show that physique from that show would have won the Olympia, or would have been higher. It would have won the Olympia or taken second here. Hair's good, makeup's good. She does her own makeup, and she's always done that, and she does it so well. She's mastered that. I mean, it's hard to compete with someone like with her, because you have to be really, like, you have to have something more than what she has in order to overtake her. And I feel like the girls ahead of her had more that she had something more that she was lacking. So, I do think this is a good look. I do like the hair. I do like the hair, the bluish green suit. We're used to seeing Ashley in green. There were too many red suits, so I'm happy she never did red. Um, has she done? She's never done pink. She's never done purple. I don't know if that would ever look good on her. She probably won't do that. But she's done blue, green, red, like tealish, this aqua blue color. But yeah, I mean, she got to the point. This is a good. I mean, this is not the best Ashley, but it was enough to be up in those top spots. I mean, the balance that she has from her upper to lower body was good, but she just lacked the projection. Just needed a little more hamstrings. All right, going into our fourth place, which was Amy. Amy to me is always a contender to win. She this year took second at the Arnold, won Pittsburgh for the third time, won New York for the third time. Her best physique, I think, is always going to be Pittsburgh. And for some reason, she nails that physique. I feel like I said, in bikini, it's hard to like keep that the whole time and to bring that to the stage. But now that Pittsburgh's a week after New York in 2026, hint, hint, I think, and in the Olympics in September, she'll have better time. She'll have better time to manage that, and to not man like my meme is like it'll be much as versus to hold that condition off for one more month. But because I think that if she brought Pittsburgh to this Olympia, she would have won it like hands down. That was the best physique. Even Marine here, Amy's Pittsburgh look would have beaten Marine. I do think this was good. This is a good look. Her hair, her suit, everything. And her glute projection is really strong. And the balance in the physique from upper to lower body. The tie-ins are good. The quads are good. I just think that she just needed just a little more. I just think she just needed a little more. But when she's like this, like no one has that kind of look. No one has that like glute density that she does. I think she has the most densest glutes, and honestly, the best glutes in the top four. When she's on her back, but I feel like in her back, she just needed to have just a little more. But stage presence, posing, the confidence you see her on stage, like she's just, exuding that confidence on stage. She's been sixth twice. Now this is her second time taking fourth. So, I mean, she could keep moving up. She could keep progressing. I do think she just needed a little more. I mean, that's insane from like her lower back down. I don't know what Tyler's gonna say. I'm waiting to see what he has to say, but I don't know if her shoulders are a little more, but I think they're fine. Let me see her go through it. One thing I did notice is that she changed her posing routine versus like, hands going to the side. Like she's containing her movements just to get to the point. Like when she gets into when like she's in the center square, and then she turns around, then she like move her arms and then take a step back. But now she's like she reduced that, so that's good on her that she's like minimizing little things. Let me just see her front one more time. I do think her front could be a little adjusted, but if I'm nitpicking at anything. But overall, this is a great package from her. I mean, they had her in the center with Maureen. I would not be upset if she took second or third even here. I had her second place, next to Laura Lee, but after seeing how things were going, I could see why the girls ahead of her were ahead of her. Let's see, going next. So third, we had Jazzy. And before anyone get upset with me, I had initially Jazzy at ninth place, but because of how she performed at the Arnold. I didn't want to say that she's outside. A lot of people had her outside top 5 or, just at that 5th place spot. I was just, it was kind of a question mark. So I feel like her getting sixth place at the Arnold was kind of like, I have to do things differently to improve on that. And that's what she kept doing. So she took the time more off in the off season and continue to improve on it. She's a great person. I mean, I'd say that she has probably one of the best front poses, just how balanced this physique is from her glutes to hamstrings. Sometimes Jazzy is like that, like hit or miss with either she's too conditioned or too soft. This is like right there in the middle. If I was to point at anything, it was her shoulders of a little vascularity up there. But I think this back pose is really solid. The glutes to tie it. I just think she just needs more upper glute. You can kind of see that dent at the top. She needs more upper glute fullness right here. But overall, posing, presence, she's smiling, she's confident on stage. Like you could just feel her energy and her presence on stage whenever she's up there. I do like the green suit, and she reminded me that she wore this when she won her pro card at NPC Nationals. But I think the green suit's great on her. I mean, the blue's fine with her as well. I'm happy she didn't do red because there's too many reds, but the green's great. But everything about her in the front is like everything you want to see in bikini. How the foot position is, how her waistline goes in. But I just feel like what maybe if Doctor was just the vascularity up here, if I was just to pick at anything, then I'm waiting to see what Tyler has to say. And probably just like I said, more glute fullness. She's like really snatched the back. Her width up top to going into her like waist is just really good. The foot position's good, the balance is there. It just needs just a little more. And honestly, she could win the title. Like her and Maureen we're gonna go through it, but her and Maureen were like really like for most of the time like splitting center. So, and I thought it could have gone either to her or Maureen, and then she got moved out for Ashton. We'll get to Ashton, and I'll explain why. So, here's Ashlyn, and I definitely think people underestimated her. I have her at 4th. A lot of people count her out and say she's just 5th or at 6th or even 7th, but she's been moving up and progressing every year. And I definitely think this was the year she made her mark and let people know that she has what it takes to be a contender to win the Bikini Olympia title. And a fun fact, there hasn't been a blonde in the top 5 since Diana Dahlgren. That was 2012. She was 3rd in 2011. That was one of the OGs, which is now Fit Model. But Diana is 5'8". This is a great win for her. This is a great accomplishment for her. I mean, being the 2nd place in the world and what she's brought. I mean, to go from 3rd at the Arnold, and between Arnold and Pittsburgh, you move to Las Vegas to like be in that environment, adapt to it. She put herself in that position to win and do well. And she's been improving ever since. She's been doing this for the past 10 years. So you're seeing like many years of work now finally moving up. I mean, her and Jazzy in their first Olympia, they qualified on points and they got into the top 10, and they both took 2nd in their class at nationals and they made the best out of it. But anyways, I'm going to get to her. I always say if Ashton exudes that confidence on stage and like says and is like out to go for the win, she is someone that can go for the title. I just think for her, she always needed a little more legs just to balance out with her glutes. But if I was to say anything, I'm gonna get back to when she goes in the front. Her glute projection is really good. Her tie-ins are good. I just think that she's pinching her back a little bit in this front. Like her elbows are going back. As she just relaxes that, it really helps her. It really helps with the pose. Let's get her front when she goes again. I just think she needs just a little more fullness up on her upper glute. That could really help her out. But this is one of the best Ashtons ever. I'm excited to see her contend for the title and it show up. Whether she chooses to do a show or not, I hope she does. I hope she does something later in the year. I mean, she's automatically qualified, so we'll see what happens. But happy to see what she's brought, and happy to see she's kept her waist tight. This front pose is good. One thing about her, and I was watching one of her videos, is that she has to train her shoulders, but she has to make sure she doesn't do shoulders too much, because then, they get too big for her, and then it almost looks like a figure girl. But this is a good look from her. Her hair, suit, makeup, it's really well applied. The best thing is that she's showing that confidence, and she's going through the rounds where, like, she knows she's gonna do well. She's smiling. She knows she can win. She knows she can do it, and she's doing it much better than before. Than I remember even last year. The last year she was top 6. This year she's right there to win the title. But I do think she probably could use I think she could fix her feet position so that that doesn't look like her quads overtake her glutes. But I feel like she just has to find that way to make sure that her glutes and legs are balanced out, and versus one taking over the other, and just fixing her just relaxing her elbow, just relaxing her hands. Because I do notice that sometimes she has her hand a little out here, like once here, once out. I think she just has to find a way, just relax, just like hands on thighs right here. And she's maybe standing a little bit wide, so maybe if she just brought her if she just brought her feet just a little in, it would really help her out so much. Like, really, it would. But I definitely think that she's going to continue to improve and continue to, go for the title. I mean, she's on a high right now. I definitely think this is a great win for her, and I definitely think she's going to continue to go forward. And I'm looking forward to seeing what she do. I hope she does. I hope she takes some time off and then decides if she wants to do Pittsburgh or not, and maybe we'll see what happens. We'll know what the future holds. So, congratulations, Ashlyn. I'm proud of you. I'm happy to see what you're gonna do in the future, and I'm happy to see what you're gonna accomplish. And so, let's get into our winner, which was Maureen. So, I was kind of thrown off with the green suit, but I felt like she wanted to do something differently. I mean, I'm used to seeing Maureen in like red, blue, pink. She does those colors very well. Her first Olympia when she won Tampa, I remember she was in the blue suit, and I remember saying I felt like she was going to have that potential to be a top girl or be a Miss Olympia contender. In her first Olympia, I had her at least in the first call. I said at least 7th, 8th. I said 7th through 10th because the girl she was going against wound up being in the top 10 at the 2019 Olympia. She gets 9th in her first Olympia. And then she kept improving year in, year out. I felt like for her, and this is something I didn't notice until I didn't notice anything. And even standing next to her and talking to her, I didn't even notice it at all. Her rib used to flare out. If you saw her look from her win in 2022, you see her ribs poking out, which would cause it. But then she got that fixed, and her Pittsburgh look, her front was a little off, and it kind of threw off her physique. It just kind of felt like she was rushing into it. But this is a good look from her. I did notice that her waist, she doesn't have a thick waist. And even seeing her in person, I guess, I don't know, you see it, but when I looked at the photos and even in this video, it does look like her waistline's a little thicker. It kind of makes me think of like Tara Grier. But when she gets into the back, it's like that is the best back and of everybody. The balance, like, of the upper body to lower body, from glutes to hamstrings. When she got 4th in 21, her inserts was like this long, like, ham rope. And I saw that, even noticed, and I don't know, maybe that's something I see it as a pattern. Even Daraja Hill, when she took 4th in 22, the year Maureen won, she had this like ham rope. But she has tie-ins. It's just how she's just genetically built. How she poses, how she like walks to the back of the stage. She's not so hard. She's not too harsh. She's not too soft. She's just like full enough to where she contains that conditioning. And when she walks, how she uses her hip movements, you can't, like, she exudes the confidence. You could see that she was like, I'm owning the stage, you know, I'm winning it. And she always does that nod. I feel like when she has that confidence and she shows that with the overall balance and great package that she brings, she's hard to beat. I always felt like she was going to be a Miss Olympia champion. I mean, she's the 10th one to win it, by the way. So 10th one to win it and when she won it in 2022. And now we have an interesting thing going with champions now winning it again. It used to be so like you lost the title or you don't get it back. But now we've had it happen with now two girls. We've had it happen with Jen and Maureen. So for her to lose the title in 23 and unfortunately have to sit out and then come back in the season and then do okay in Pittsburgh and then from that point change everything, change your life, everything personal to like come change your life, change everything personal, and then to change your life, change your coaches, change everything personal, your environment. It definitely helped her out, and I'm definitely happy to see that she got her title back. I definitely think that she was the right pick for this. I mean, when everybody was moving around her for that into that center space spot, I was like, I think she's gonna win it, and I just knew from that point on, I'm like, she has it. Like when she walked out, just for individual that I'm seeing here, I even have one on my phone that I uploaded. I felt like, okay, she's back. She's ready to win it. I felt like she didn't exert so much pressure on herself. So, and when she does that and she shows that she could present the physique, there's no way I think she could lose. There's no way I think nobody could take your eyes off her. You're like, your eyes go directly to her based on her presentation. When she comes out like, okay, get to the point. I'm here to win and I'm going to do my thing. I definitely think that she's hard to beat. And for her to go through all that, and to come here and to nail it and, switching coaches and doing all that and to find out what works best for her, I definitely think I'm excited to see what she's going to do. I'm hoping to see her do something next year, but I definitely think internationally she's going to get a lot of opportunities. She's not doing the Arnold, by the way. I don't think she wants to do it. So, and that's out of the question. And I'm happy to see her move up and move that back at this spot. But honestly, I think from the back, she had the best back pose in terms of balance, in terms of like glutes, hamstrings, fullness, everything was there. Okay, let's see. Walk back. I'm just gonna walk it one more time. Then we're gonna get into like the first call out, and we'll show you guys everything. Okay. But like stage presence, the hair suit, the glam. I didn't notice when I held the trophy with her at the Resorts World Theater. I'm like, oh, you have a green ring. I'm like, that's so cool. Like, that's cool that everything like goes very well. I mean, this is a good look for her. I don't think the earrings are distracting. They're fine. If they were like too wide, I would say yeah, but like this is a great look from her. Her hair, everything, the tan is so well on her. When she lost in 23, her tan was a little too dark and she was holding water, but this is really good for her. All right, so I'm gonna get to the first call out. Let's go. Go here. And I had to change some songs up because I'm with copyright, so I put it on mute. Okay, here we go. So I had to like have my like selfie stick a little bit up. So if I do kind of go lower, and plus there were like a bunch of cameras up there. Oh crap. Here we go. So let's do full screen. So instantly they move Vanya and Marine to the center. And then they move Evie and a hold on. Yeah, there's a little confusion. So then it was like I said earlier, it was Jazzy and Marine in the center for some time. And then Vanya and Laura Lee swap. And then Evie, and I think there's confusion, but it's all right. So at this point, it looked like Maureen was winning, Jazzy was second, Laura was third, Amy was fourth. And Alani was sixth, seventh, eighth. So then Evie and Ashley swap. Oh, yeah. So then they go through turn to the back. I'll try to pause it right here at the moment. Oh, look, everybody's camera's in the way. I have to like move up a bit. So I tried to get what I could. But like if I'm looking at Vanya, you could definitely tell she was like not really bending as much. But the glutes that stand out the most to me were like Marine, Amy, and Ashlyn. You kind of see like more flat in Laura Lee. Evie, actually, 1, 2, and also Evie's as well. But Evie was just a little too tight in her hamstrings. So then they walk to the back. Speed it up. Okay. Yeah. Okay, this is the same people, how they are. So now they're getting tested in the comparisons. So pause it again. Yeah, you can see. I mean, standouts for me definitely a Marine. Like even with this lighting, even with this, I have an iPhone 17 I just recently got. The standout like projection is Marine, Ashlyn, Evie. Like I said, Amy just needed just a little more. Jazzy's is good. It's kind of like fourth, third, second, first. Like I definitely think Amy just needed just a little more, and that could really carry her over. Because this is like really well balanced physique for her. Even Jazzy, you just needed a little more upper glute. If her upper glutes was just as good, it could be second or first place for her. Laura Lee, you don't see the tie-ins. It just lost the pop or the projection. Ashley's good. She just needed more projection. See, do they rotate right here? Okay, here we go. Back to the center, and let's see, they're gonna swap. At this point, I kind of felt like I felt like Laura Lee was gonna be not winning. Everyone's camera's in the way. I'm sorry. Even right here. So then Ashlyn and Laura Lee swap. So then this would look like the sixth place position. So then seventh, eighth, sixth, seventh, eighth. They did 8 in the first call out, even with so many girls. So they did pretty much 8 call outs. I thought they were going to do 9 or 10, but I think they did it right. Right. I'm just making sure to see if anyone was losing fullness or like anyone was fading. Because it looked like 1, 2, 3, 4. So Amy was definitely in the 4th place spot. But Amy and Jazzy were like fighting for that 4th, 3rd spot, according to the scorecard. Okay, let's go back. So then we're back to the front. Let's go. Won't take too long. Come on. So then it looks like 1, 2, 3. Ashley in 3rd, Ashley in 4th, Amy in 5th. That's why you have to just keeping, like, you have to keep on keeping on, because, you know, you may be swapped in and out. They just want to make sure who was the right pick. So they walk back, they go back to the front. So then instantly Ashley and Jazzy. So then Ashley and Jazzy swap. Like Maureen is like always the first one up, and that's what you notice with her. Like you got to do it. I think she could be a little more slower going to the line. You don't want to be the first one. You don't want to be the last one. So then it looked like 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that will end that one. So I think it ended right there. Okay. Okay, let's go to our final call out. So here's final call out. There you go. So Jazzy and Maureen switch, then they instantly compare. This is the top 6. It looked like Laura Lee's in that top 6. It was in 6th place, like clearly. And Ashley was in solid 5th, and Maureen was solid 1st. So then they go back. All right. So then they go again. So Maureen still stands out. Ashton still stands out. And then Jazzy got better. And we just needed just a little more. Ashlyn just needed more projection. And I think, like I said, I feel like Laura Lee was just off in the back. All right. So then let's see how this is how the final call out ended. Amy and Ashton swapped. So now this is clearly first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. I just think Ashton could just relax her hands a bit. It would help her instead of pinching. Like Amy has this perfectly down. Laura Lee has it from her hand position. So does Jazzy. Okay. They held them there for some time, and they told him face the back. And that was all. So, I mean, Marine won, so I felt like they had the right choice. They had to make that choice. But what I noticed with some of the girls, and even people have been talking about this throughout the season, was that a lot of them had like a hybrid wellness kind of look. Like if I didn't know who they looked like from the front, when they turned back, I'm like, who's that? And then like they turned from like, oh, like I feel like some people came in like too etched in, too tight, and that's maybe what brought them down. But I think even with not just bikini, but even across the other divisions, they're trying to have a clear separation of and differentiation of other divisions. So that's not like, someone in bikini looks like figure, and someone in figure looks like physique, someone in physique looks like women's bodybuilding, and so on and so on and so on. So they trying to maintain that criteria at the Olympia stage where it's like that's the standard for the year, that's the standard for that particular division. In my opinion, I mean, there were so many great athletes on the stage, and I was really happy. Like I said, I had a great time, but I felt like Saturday prejudging was just so long with so many athletes, especially with men's, with the classic men's physique going on, and then bikini has to be the people that have to hold on that the most, so they don't go on stage until like 2 or 3. Like I think they didn't go on stage until prejudging started at 9:30. But they did like almost an hour of like the first call out of comparisons after everyone went up. So it's like 1, 2, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. So almost like 4.5 hours we had to wait for bikini to come on. So I feel like with better timing and less athletes, and that's why I'm happy about this new qualification system, even though there may be 40, 50 athletes, it takes less time so that they can get the best people on it. And we'll see who's willing to win more than 2 shows. Obviously, you have the top 3 girls already qualified, and then Laura Lee, Ashley, they're qualified for life. So the ads right now, and you have Jordan Brandon qualified. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So pretty much 30. If those were the only ones, then you have your top 25. You already have 31 girls qualified, which I feel like in any pro show with less competitors, it's easy to go through. I think the Republic of Texas had like 47 girls. So then again, there were less divisions there. So, but then the other categories, they had less than like, I think 20 to 30 guys in the other categories. So it was easy to go through. But in my honest opinion, and I respect every judge, and first and foremost, shout out to all those judges. They have many years of experience. I mean, they're probably still worn out even after all this, but I really believe it should be top 20 or 25 at most, and they should be reimbursed. And even talk to Sean about this. It's like more, go through a cut round so you can just get the top 15. And so then you get the top 10 on the final stage, because only top 10 get to go to finals. But I think as time goes on, they're going to get better at it, and they're going to find some way. And I definitely think that they'll find something to make things work so that they'll get through it and it can be judged fair. Because like I said, it's a life-changing decision for someone to become the Olympia champion. It changes someone's life. That's prize money. Being on the Olympia stage it's not easy to do. It's like 5% of the world gets to do this, and not many people have the opportunity to do it. But I'll take this off right now. I've been wearing it too long. It's been hurting my ears. But I definitely think that there's many ways to do it, to ensure it, but because we want to keep the integrity of what the Olympia is all about. And now they're moving into a different venue for the final. So whatever it is, I'm hoping it's something much better for the athlete experience, and also the fan experience as well. I mean, I love these athletes. I don't care what goes on in Vegas. I don't care what goes on in Florida. I just care about showing up for those athletes and supporting them and seeing the best of the best. And I want to see the best athletes on the stage. But with so many athletes and so much going on, no one's going to come in at their best. It's just whoever nails it, I guess. And I want to see everybody at their all-time best. I even told Ashley, I want to see your all-time best, Ashley. You know, with 20 some girls, you can get a dark horse out of that. When she won her first one, no one had Ashley winning. No one even knew who she was. They just heard about three people. And then out of nowhere, the three people they kept talking about wind up 4, 5, and 6. And Ashley won. So that's another thing that would be a benefit to having, less competitors and, beginning best. Well, the Arnold is very well ran and has a great production is because they have less athletes, less divisions, and it's ran very well. It's a great both athlete and a fan experience. But obviously the Olympia has to do something to make it much better for both the athletes and the fans. And I think the Pro League can do something to work on that for the qualifications. I mean, we'll see how it goes. The other divisions that don't have so many competitors in it, they can be one and done, but we'll see how many shows there are. But if there's going to be a lot of shows, you're going to have to do maybe a cut round at the Olympia, just, after comparisons versus going for so many individuals. Cause I was at the expo and they were still going through. I'm like, and I messaged one of my friends. I'm like, hey, how many people are still, how many people have gone up? Brian Terry's 68, right? He goes, yeah. What number are they on? Like, oh, they're on 41. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I was just continuing to go around. I want to see in every division the best guys. I want to see not even just bikini by itself, but every division. But I felt like it's so oversaturated, and even Sean even noticed this, that some guys are just like frustrated and upset because they're just waiting in the back and they're seeing all these call outs go, and it's just like 8 call outs. They did 9 in the first call out for classic and in men's physique. They did 9 in 2022 Bikini Olympia, but they did 8 so they can get through a bunch. So we'll see what happens. Overall, it was a great experience. I'm hoping people can see what I see, because like I said, in videos and photos, it's much different than what you see in person. In person, I saw something totally different, and then looking back, I'm like, okay, I can see what people are talking about. But like I said, it was totally different. You can clearly see who showed up best and who was like memorable. And I feel like going into this next season, everyone, you want to do well at the Olympia, you better be memorable. Like, you have no choice. Like, I'll give you a little hint right now. The Arnold, Pittsburgh, and the Olympia, that's the same judging panel. So if you apply for the Arnold, 10 people, 10, 12 people get accepted, you get in front of the best judges and you get to go get top tier athletes. I don't think many of the top girls are even going to choose to even do the Arnold if they're already qualified, or they feel like, I don't want to go for it. I mean, Pittsburgh definitely is a show you want to be at. I'm definitely going to be at Pittsburgh. So I'm hoping a lot of people sign up for that. Amy's going to try to defend it for the 4th time, but you want to get in front of the top judges. You want to know who they're looking out for. So you're not going to be one of those people overlooked, because I saw those girls from like other countries. I appreciate athletes NPC worldwide, because I understand it's hard for them to turn pro, because they have to win the class, and then they have to go win the overall, and it's only one pro card. We have it great here. We have class winners. We have top 2 in the class get pro cards, but they have it rough. And for them to fly over to go through all that, get used to environment, and they don't do well, it's upsetting. But I do think that you can get the best athletes if you have the right amount of people, and it can be judged fairly, because they were playing a guessing game with men's physique. They're like, what numbers? It's like, there's not a consistency. They did a good, shout out to Steve. He did what he could. But Sandy has over 7 years of experience, and she's done it. She can know who's on, who's not. They can know who came in like ready to win and who's not at their best physique. So I can go on and on about this, but I guess the Pro League can figure that all out. So it's easy to talk about and rant about it, but then it's going to be a matter of what the Pro League does. So yeah, that's my recap of the Olympia. I think I'm going to have to edit some part out, because I think my screen share didn't work, but yeah, that'll be all. And we have show previews this week, so I'm going to get to that. We have 4 of them. I'm probably going to talk about hurricane, and I'm probably going to talk about most likely just the hurricane, because we have some girls coming off the Olympia stage doing that. And the other shows are much smaller. There are not so many big names on it, but if there's someone that's standing out, I'll talk about that. And that's my recap. If you guys like this, please comment down below, subscribe. I will continue having this out. I do have a list of guests for my GTE podcast where I'm going to bring on. I do hope to get one special guest. I did talk to her manager, so we'll see what goes on. And it's not just going to be about painting bikini. It's going to be about anything that you guys want. It's going to be probably people in other divisions, coaches, and people and icons, people that I even admire and I look up to. So that'll be all. You take care.